I'm joined today by a guy who wears more hats than just about anyone in the fight game right now. He's the owner of Rocket Combat Sports, the matchmaker of Rocket Combat Sports, and he's also fighting and headlining the next Rocket Combat Sports. He's Chris the Rocket Rollins. We're here to talk about everything Rocket Combat Sports. How's it going today, Chris?
What's up, my man? Just got done putting in a good training session, getting ready about a month out. Excited to be on here and talk with you and just shed some light on the card and the whole event itself and all the other fighters, including myself.
Awesome. We're just coming out of RCS 20. I was supposed to be there. I was telling you off camera. I didn't get to come down. I was getting text the whole night. The card was amazing. I think you even said in another interview, one of the best cards you guys put together, if not the best. Let's start there. What was the feedback coming out of RCS 20?
Yeah, coming out of 20, man, I was like, crap. I was super stoked on the way the night went. Each fight just kept getting better and better. It had some finishes, had some good decision fights, championship fights. Crowd was amazing. The fighters put on, everybody had respect, coaches, fans. I was like, man, so I left. I was like, crap, man, I feel even more pressure now for 21, like matching and fighting as well. I was like, dude, because, you don't want the cards to go down. I want to keep trending and get better. But it definitely, got my hands full to try the top 20, but 21 came together really great.
You kind of touched on the fact that 20 kind of hit all the boxes. Like, what were some of the biggest takeaways from that one, outside of being like what you referred to as like one of the best cards?
To be honest, I was like watching some of the fights, and I'm like, dude, I can't believe some of these guys were like literally making their debut fights, 0-0 guys versus 0-0 guys. And you go back 10 years ago, 8 years ago, you would never see the skill level they are now. You would never think that these guys were 0-0 fighting. You would think, hey, man, these guys have been fighting, 2 or 3 years. They had 6 or 7 fights on their belt, and they're like, making their MMA debuts, white belts and blue belts in jiu-jitsu. But like the level of the sport is like going this way. It's so crazy. I think we're getting to like the new breed of MMA now, where these guys that are up fighting now, they've been doing since they were little kids, and you're seeing them now. Once they're making their debuts, they're at another level. The MMA scene is just going here with the skill set.
So with most shows, if a promoter or a matchmaker is putting together a show, they have that stress level of fight week, and then they kind of have that rest period. You're kind of like kind of like booking 21 while 20 was going on, while training for a fight. How did all that kind of lead into 21? Like, how were you able to manage RCS 20 and booking RCS 21?
Just pounding that pavement, staying on it. That was definitely, like you said, because fight week is like, I don't want to. It's very rewarding, but it's kind of a hell up until you get to the fight, because every promoter knows it. It's behind the scenes. You run into a lot of snags or just whatever. You name it, it pops up, and then you have to deal with some fight, issues, weight cuts, medicals. I try to stay on top of stuff as much as I can, but you can only micromanage people so much. I don't really like to micromanage. Like, hey, man, you got to get this done. And then, so then after the night, I'm like, all right, I like to take a week off. You nailed it, like a week off, kind of reset, but I had to get right back to it, matching, getting some stuff lined up, plus being camped for this fight. This is my hometown, too, on top of that, where I went to high school at. I graduated there in 2008, and I was MVP in the football my senior year and stuff, and then now we're back here fighting, headlining, promoting, like you said. So, but it's going to be a good night. This is a good venue. You can fit a lot of people in there, and then the card came together great. 21's going to have our first ever 4 title fights. We've never had 4 title fights on a card. And I know a lot of times, like when you see title fights, if you don't really dig into the card, people that don't know, they're just casual fans. Oh, this is a title fight. These are no gimme fights. These guys have legitimately earned their belts. We have a kickboxing 155 title fight, amateur. Chris Buffalo's fighting Chris Miller. Chris Miller, I think, got like 9 or 10 fights. Chris Buffalo's 5-0, and RCS is kickboxing. If anybody's been to the shows, they're like, is Buffalo? I get one of the questions asked all the time, is Buffalo fighting? Is Buffalo fighting? A lot of people don't want to take that fight with him. So Chris Miller took it. Then we have a great amateur 155 lightweight title fight. It's going to be fireworks. And then co-main event, you got our 135 champion and Mick Corelli trying to be double champ, going to 145, and then you have myself closing the show out. I hold the 155 RCS pro lightweight title, going to 170 for the first time ever, trying to become double champ. So you got 2 guys trying to become double champ on the same night.
That's crazy. I mean, like, just the fact that not only are you putting together a stellar card, but it's also then headlined by you in your hometown. It's like all the pressure's on you as the owner, matchmaker, and everything anyway. But now you're like the the final boss on the Mortal Kombat pole. So let's touch on like you in your fight a little bit. Graduated in 08, so we're about the same age, which means we kind of probably got into MMA probably at the same time. You've been around though for a while too. This is your 31st or your 21st pro fight, 22nd pro fight.
Yeah, all together, I think I have between because I got 11 pro boxing fights as well. So I fought in 16 states now as a professional. I've been all around. I've lost to some really good guys that went to the UFC, PFL, Bellator, you name it. I've seen it. I've been around. I'm kind of back in my hometown again. So it's like, it's cool to get on these cards, fought on TV before. But like this fight means a lot to me. I'm fighting Alan Stevenson. A little backstory on us. He's a very game guy. When I first started training, we actually trained the same gym for about 3 years together. So we were coming up in the amateur. It was called Fight Night Challenge. Was the promotion. So he was the lightweight champion and I was the featherweight champion. And we were putting on good fights and training partners and stuff. And now years later, we're fighting each other for the 170 belt. So he can't make lightweight anymore. So I agreed to move up to fight him at 170.
And you kind of touched on one thing or two about how you kind of fought in different states, different areas. You also touched on other ones, like the Buffalo, how he's fought for you guys several times. How meaningful was it to you, do you think, with these kids? I hate calling them kids because they're not much younger than us, but they tend to be a bit younger than us. Being able to kind of grow with the promotion instead of having to play that game of like who has a fight coming up this month.
I really think if you really dig into the Tapology stuff, I say like I've made posts before, kind of like clowning around, but I'm like, hey, these other promotions just sitting around with popcorn, waiting for me to announce my show. These guys that are nobody. I find this talent, then they're on Tapology, and the next thing you know, every promoter is messaging them, trying to get them on the shows. They're like, man, because I just keep finding this, and it's not. I'm not their coach, of course, so I'm not gonna take the credit for that. But I got a niche for finding new talent, and then these other guys just swoop in trying to get people's fighting. So I just I've learned from fighting for so many people, 16 states. I don't know how many different promotions. A lot. I've dealt with a lot of good people, and I've dealt with shady people. So I know as a fighter, I'm a fighter first, and I know what the fighters want and what they deserve, and I've always done that. I don't lie to them. I don't have one-sided fights for all my guys. Even I have my gym, like they're all winning the first round. Like the last card, my whole gym, we lost every fight. That's never happened before. I match my guys hard, so it's not like I'm sitting up, you go to some of these shows and there's a bunch of one-round, one-sided fights. I don't do that because then eventually people are like, hey, don't go to that show, man. These fights are just lopsided. I take pride on making even fights and giving everybody a fair opportunity, and that's why I'm taking this fight at 170. With all these pressure, because I'm not going to ask none of the fighters on my card or none of the guys in my gym to do something that I haven't done and won't still do today.
That's awesome. And when you look at that, a lot of promoters watch MMA. They don't do MMA. Some might train jiu-jitsu. What do you think the advantage of being able to have that one-on-one connection to with the fighter that like you do the same shit? You've done fights. You've been in fights.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that fight for me, I think they have a lot of respect for me. And so, like you said, I don't like calling them kids, but they are a lot younger than me. They kind of look up to me from afar and fight for me. And honestly, they inspire me watching all the guys at 20 put on. Like, man, I still love this shit. I'm still hungry. All these years later, I'll be 36 at the end of the year. I'm still pushing. I feel like I'm still getting better, honestly. But it's around these young guys that push me. Because basically all the guys that came when I came in, they're gone. I'm like the last man standing like in this area of like fighters. Alan that I'm fighting, of course, he was fighting when I fought, but he's had like a 2 or 3 year breaks at a time. I've been 3 to 5 fights since 2012 fighting the next killer in town, So I got a bunch of young guys in my gym now, so they're all 18 to 22. They stay pushing me and, they motivate me to keep going, and then they look up to me. So it's like a little bit of a team effort. I got like a whole new crew behind me the last few years, and I think that's why I was able to go on that 5-fight win streak. I had a little hiccup on my last fight. I had a little injury coming into camp, but I don't like to pull out of fights. I showed up. I went to 247. I fought Ethan Goss. Got caught with a submission. And then I just seen he just got the call for PFL now. So I'm looking to make it 6 out of my last 7 wins and keep the ball rolling. Allen's won 5 out of his last 6 as well. So you got 2 guys coming in that's won 10 out of the last 12 fights in the main event. This is a real title fight right here.
And speaking, just touching on your fight, I kind of feel like I'm kind of beating the horse. The fact that pushing the vet, you're more than just a fighter here. You're like the whole shebang. But like when a fighter's in a title fight or in a main event, they can focus on just that. Like, how are you really balancing of like your training structure, getting your guys ready for the fight, and making sure your card makes it to August 16th?
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm trying to stay on top of everything now and get everything that I can do out of the way before fight week gets there. Try to handle any hiccups we're going to deal with as far as like getting these medicals done for, because that's probably the most hardest thing is getting all the medicals done. Because a lot of people from the outside, they don't understand you got to have all these medicals done, or the fights are not going to go. And that's out of my hands. That's the commission. And you got to have, you got to get all your insurance, your bond. There's a whole lot of overhead people don't have a clue. You have to have EMS security. The list goes on and on. So I got all that stuff checked out of the way. I think when it comes to making fights and taking fights in the state of Virginia, I think I'm leading the way. I got the most fights in Virginia right now, actually, as a pro fighter. And then you add in this my 21st card. So I just take pride in that, and it's a team effort. Without all the fighters and coaches, then there is no Rocket Combat Sports. I might be the face of it, but the fighters go out there and put on, and I'm gonna go out there and end the night August 16th to do the same thing.
This also not real fast too. 21st card. You launched it in 2019.
Yep.
Not the best time to launch something with 2020 the following year. How has it been starting from like the start, having like the year where there was nothing going on in 2020, even in the 2021, and now you're in 2025 on your 21st show? Like, how's the progress been on the growth there?
Yeah, that's we did 1 and 2, and then we came back and did 3 in February of 20. And I want to say 3 was one of the biggest cards gates, like as far as fans, I think we've ever had. I'm like, man, I'm going to keep this thing going, and then boom, everything shuts down. So then once things started opening up, Virginia still wasn't allowing nothing going on. So I actually went to South Carolina for 4 and 5 to keep the show going. They were letting shows go. I went there. I think they helped. That's when we started doing some pay-per-view at the time. We started that and, met some people down that way. Then we came back to Virginia and let me see, so we on 6, and then we just kept the ball rolling. We were the first show to run in Virginia. And then the DPR, which is the state commission for the pros, they had everybody that was doing it. They all retired, so I had a whole new commission. They'd never even worked that event before. So I was kind of like their guinea pig. I kind of had to, not going to say do the job for them, but I had to teach them the ropes and promote the fights. So it's like I really feel like I'm leading the way here in Virginia when it comes to that stuff. Because you have APFC comes here now, Anthony Pettis Fighting Championship. Everybody gets all excited about that. No knock on them. He's great. He does his thing. But as far as being homegrown Virginia, I'm leading the way, and I'm running 3 to 4 shows here a year.
Actually, one of my next questions, so I'll jump to that one too. Like, how does that kind of throw wrenches at you? You have your own collective. You're growing your company yourself. You're doing all the homegrown talent. Then the name with Fight Pass comes into town. How does that kind of like bring the circus to town? Like, how does that kind of throw a wrench at you?
Yeah, I got a lot of people that know and just been around. They're like, hey man, I knew APHC was coming here because they're going to be here on the 10th. 6 days before. We're the 16th, so I knew they were going to come before I even announced the show. Before they announced, and they're like, hey man, I think you might want to reschedule your date. I'm like, hey man, I'm running. I'm not going to not run because they're coming to town. So so it is what it is. Enough fighters to go around. It definitely makes it a little bit harder than being close by, but it is what it is. It just makes me level up my game even better.
Awesome, and for fans who have either never heard of Rocket Combat Sports because they only watch, say, the UFC or the Fight Pass promotions, what makes Rocket Combat Sports like a promotion to check out that's not on your normal subscription services?
I would say top to bottom, just even matchmaking, good fights. You can match people on paper and you might think, oh, this fight could be great or it might not. But honestly, all of our cards are pretty well matched, and the talent level just keeps going here every card. I just feel like the fighters getting better and better. So I just think when you come here, and plus when you come to Virginia, a lot of states doesn't allow full rules for amateurs. In Virginia, they allow pro rule sets for the amateurs. So they're throwing no shins, head kicks, elbows. So you're getting to see them, what they're going to be doing as a professional fighter as well. Plus, we have kickboxing matches as well. We've talked about earlier. So I just think it's just a high-level work. You go up north and you got shin guards. You go to North Carolina, South Carolina. You got to have so many fights to do head kicks. Virginia, when you come watch an amateur fight or a pro fight, you're not going to know the difference because they don't have shins on and the skill level now. Like some of the fights we had at 20, I'm like, dude, this looks like two pro fighters fighting. So the sport's in good hands. So I'm just proud I can still be relevant and keep pushing with all these young guys coming because it ain't getting no easier. But they keep me on my toes, and I look forward to challenging myself every day. That's why I signed up to, be a fighter. That's what I love to do, and I'm just leading the way.
Awesome. You kind of touched on the title fights. Are there any of the fights that are not for a title that are really like sticking out to you? Like if someone was like looking on paper again, on that topologies, there's a lot of amateurs or a lot of debutants. What fights stand out to you as the matchmaker that are like, yeah, man, you might really want to check this one out?
I think it's pretty cool. So I have two guys from my gym that are going to fight. Actually, Alan's teammates. So I thought that was pretty cool because Alan's coach was my coach, of course. So we still communicate. So we got like this little it's no beef or anything, but it's like team versus team type stuff. So we got Jordan Huntley fighting Jason Romero, lightweight 155 title, and then we have my boy Jesse's gonna be fighting kickboxing fight against Mike's Jesse. So I'm excited for that. So it's like a little team challenge thing we're trying to do. We're looking to go 3-0 on the night. I'm excited about that. And we got a good heavyweights fight. We got two girl fights. So we have Skylar. She just won. She beat Hannah Ross at the last show by first round. So we just added that fight today. So girl fights are really, really hard to come by. So I want to say at RCS 4, we went to South Carolina, I was talking about, we had a girl fight, and that was the fight of the night. And I don't think we've had a girl fight since RCS 4 or 5 until 20. So we went 15 shows without MMA girl fight. We've had kickboxing matches. So I'm stoked to have another girl fight booked, and I'm excited for the fans for that one.
I mean, I can speak to that too because I've helped a few promotions try to match female fighters.
Yeah.
And topology doesn't help at all because they only do pound for pound.
Yeah.
And
hard.
Everyone knows each other, it seems, as a female fighter, so no one wants to fight certain names. And but I've been at shows where everyone does the whole like WMMA, and it ends up being one of the best fights on the card.
Oh, definitely. The girls throw down. Even you get to like a jiu-jitsu tournament, the girls, man, their arms are getting fully extended. They don't tap out. They find their way out. So it's always exciting to have a girl fight on the card. So I was stoked to get. I actually just got that done last night. I haven't even announced it yet, but yeah, I'm excited to get that fight done.
Nice. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you. When we kind of hit on the fact that you're doing everything. Like you have one hat on now because you wore 8 earlier today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass the mic to you to kind of like final last thoughts, basically. Why people should watch your fight, the card itself, and why they should pay attention to Rocket Combat Sports. Mike Sawyer.
I think, like you said, we're the forefront of Virginia. We're putting on when it comes to matchmaking, fighting, me fighting myself. I take pride in that. We got a pro-am card. We're going to have 7 to 8 amateur fights. We're going to end it with the main card with 5 pro fights. You got Brandon Paganis has fought for us before. He's a pro now. He fought for us as an amateur. He's fighting on Josh Cook. Josh Cook, I think, is the number 1 ranked bantamweight in the U.S. right now. He made his RCS debut back in 2020 as an amateur at RCS 3. Now he's 8-1, making his pro debut. So they're going to start off the main card. So that fight right there is a banger right there. And as the card progresses down, we got a former heavyweight champion that was an amateur for us, Matt Crawford. Is going to be fighting his 3rd pro fight. And then we have 2 title fights to end the night. Amateur undercard. The fights are going to deliver 100%. Go to rocketcombatsport.com. Get your tickets. The VIP tables have been moving pretty fast. This is a big venue, so I'm looking forward to seeing the packed house, seeing my whole gym. My gym's a mile away from here too, so I'm packing the place up, and I'm excited to just sit back in the locker room and just hear the crowd be yelling and just be a fighter for the night and let my guys handle everything. And I'm just excited.
Awesome. And again, it's August 16th, Rocket Combat Sports 21. I'll have the link below for tickets if you're in the area. You can also stream it live on StarFund. StarFund does a great job. It's a little on the pricier side, as you probably know from working with them, but you get a great quality. There's a reason why you pay what you pay for StarFund. The quality is really good, and you get to rewatch it back and forth as well too. So, August 16th, Rocket Combat Sports 21. Best of skill in the fight. Best of skill in another banger show. And we look forward to this one, and then 22, 23, 24, and so on. Thanks for hopping on, and look forward to watching.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.